Hi, and thank you so much for this question. So this question is related to a video that I'll be tagging right over there where I talk about my terrible and wildly racist and ableist experience living on the island of Tenerife, which is one of the Canary Islands. Curious about that? Go right over here. There's a small saga of videos that outline more of what happened. But this commenter asks, I've been thinking about solo traveling. What are some steps I should take to make it safe? I've got a couple of thoughts and ideas. Also, for those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Shayna. I'm a journalist. I also talk a lot about decentering men, child-free living, and the intersections of the two. And like within this travel space, the kind of journalism that I do is food and travel politics. So I travel consistently. Arguably, it's my job to not be in the United States. I mean, I do write a lot about the United States, but it's like basically my job to not be in my apartment. I'm also in the process of moving to Spain right now. That's a completely other thing. Let's dive into this comment. While there's a lot of stuff that I could say about this, for right now, I think the foundations need to be established because I didn't realize how many people, not necessarily on my online community, but people that I know in person don't have this specific kind of foundation when it comes to figuring out where they want to travel to or live in abroad. And while I personally don't necessarily think that going on a trip that did not meet your standard or meet your whatever is a waste of money because there's so much lived experience and knowledge to be gained from certain things, unless trauma is involved. Unless trauma is involved. But here's the thing. Here's like the foundational thing that I think makes it easier to build off of figuring out where it is that you would like to solo travel. And it's based in your research. Not you specifically, you know what I mean? But it's based in research and figuring out what kinds of destinations, what kinds of countries, what kinds of cities would make you feel safest. Now, a lot of people love going online and looking up travel TikToks and travel YouTubes and travel vlogs and those kinds of things, which I recommend. But understanding the kinds of travel content and kinds of travel research helps to make the most fully informed decision. Now, within this kind of travel content space, I want to break down three different kinds of people who create travel content. First are travel journalists like myself. Then there are travel content creators, and then there are travel influencers. I'm going to start with travel journalists. Now, I am a freelance travel journalist. I do not have I am not held to any one publication, right? So I have the most freedom, literally in the phrase freelance, right? So I have the freedom to write about the things that interest me in the most. It's not necessarily even about honesty in the most because I don't work for one publication or because I'm not writing like sponsored content necessarily, I get to have the space to say the things that I really want to say in the way that I want to say it while also having to work with different editors to figure out tone and all that for each publication, right? Different kinds of journalists might have to not necessarily toe the line, but say things in a way that are more friendly to the destination, depending on if certain things are paid, like sponsored content or that kind of stuff, right? I don't have that issue, nor do most travel journalists. Now, I personally, and my neurodivergence helps me to toe this very fine line, because if you want the free trips, then you're gonna have to say the nice things, right? But because I talk about travel and food journalism in a way that highlights marginalized people, their struggles, their realities, and their triumphs. When I go places, I'm looking for the Black people, I'm looking for the Latin people, I'm looking for the queer people, give me the marginalized people. Everybody else, please go away. Not necessarily please go away, but like I get to talk about the marginalized people, the people that are on the fringes, that are doing really good work in different corners of the world. So when I go to places, if they don't have those kinds of people, then I'm probably not going. Now let's talk about the content creators. Now, content creators and influencers are different. Content creators just create content. They're not necessarily trying to make you think a certain kind of way, make you purchase something, make you experience something. They're just making content. Now, influencers are trying to influence people to purchase something, to buy something, to go somewhere, those kinds of things, right? Now, content creators and influencers can both also go on PR trips, press trips, get paid by destinations to go to places. But influencers are trying to influence people to go somewhere. So while I recognize that there is obviously space for all three of these entities within the travel information universe, I think that travel, figuring out where you feel, figuring out people that you trust that'll let you know, oh, where what's the real experience of certain destinations. I personally would lean more, do your research also. Do your research on who you're going to do your research on. Figure out what kind of journalists and what kind of travel content creators give you the real, authentic, honest experience of what they have gone through. And especially if you are intersectionally marginalized, try to find people that share some, if not all, of your intersections. And then once you find a space where somebody that feels a little bit closer to home has had good experiences, then I recommend looking for your influencers. Look for the people that are able to show you, if you want to go to like a destination, a resort, you want to go on certain excursions, then I would say look for the influencers that are in the destination or have gone to that destination or that city or that whatever. They will let you know, hey, this is the kind of food that I ordered. This is the space that I stayed in. This is generally, and like content creators and influencers probably do like something similar with this, but like this is how much it costs. Beautiful pictures, beautiful lighting, all these. They will help to further cement, okay, I think this specifically is where I want to go. Not that you have been influenced to go, because you have gathered your research. You already know within yourself, okay, this is the kind of space that I want to go to because of the research from the other two. But then once you figure that out, okay, I'm gonna look for my influencers so that way I know, okay. And then when you're looking for your influencers, I personally, no. Whatever I was going to say, I take it back. Still also look for the influencers that are kind of within your marginalizations, if you can. Why? Because as somebody who is intersectionally marginalized myself, not just as a Black woman, but also as somebody who has an autoimmune disease that leads to sometimes mobility issues, if I am just looking for people who are, if I'm only looking at, for example, white people who have mobility issues, white disabled travel influencers, then sure, like some of the places that I go to might have the mobility things that I might need, but I don't know what their experience would be as a Black person, right? So, and it's gonna be, the reason why I have so much I get so many articles written is because I sit at so many intersections and I talk about them so freely. So finding a Black person with mobility issues or a Black disabled person or whatever, it might be a little bit harder to find within the travel space. Not to say that I'm the only one and not to say that there aren't more out there, but let's say that you could only find like a couple of white disabled people and then a couple of Black women travel influencers. Take both of for certain destinations. Take those informations, put them together in a way that makes sense for you as you are narrowing down, okay, where would I like to go? Where are places that feel safe for me? And then once you have that foundation, then start building up. Then start asking yourself, okay, do I want hot climate, cold climate? Do I want rural? Do I want small? Do I want big city? Do I want an adventure vacation or do I want a foodie destination or do I want like a quiet getaway? Then you could start working on those details. But fundamentally, these are the kinds of things that I would recommend looking for first. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please type them away. I always appreciate a super thanks. No pressure, but I always appreciate it. Yeah, so that's all for now. Bye.